Hello, this is Donna, and I would like to welcome you to another amazing episode of You Were Designed for Greatness. Today, I have a special guest, Natalie, with me. Natalie, say hello to all of the people listening today.
Hi, everybody. I am so honored to be here.
Natalie, where do you live?
I am based in Shropshire in the UK.
Okay, I would not be able to say that word. I look at the words and I say them completely wrong every time I visit the UK. So say it one more time. What's the town?
Shropshire.
Okay. Everybody got that. She's in the UK in that town.
Yeah.
So Natalie and I met virtually, as you can probably understand, because I'm in the US, and being able to make new friends through different connections we have is one of my favorite things. Natalie is a personal trainer. In my estimation, though, I would describe her a personal trainer with a huge heart to really help people. So, Natalie, um, how'd you get started on all this? And you have your own business. Did everything always go smoothly?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think it's ever a smooth ride. I grew up in professional sport, played soccer for most of my childhood, and when I got injured at the age of 15, I knew I had to do something else, and coaching was the obvious choice.
Mhm.
One of my lecturers took me under her wing with the personal training side and told me that she thought I'd be able to give more value as a personal trainer
Mhm.
rather than as a soccer coach. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to give back the way my coach had given to me. So that's what made me decide to do that. And in terms of working for myself, I didn't want the restrictions that came with a company or a board of directors or anything like
Mhm.
that. I wanted to be able to help individuals in the way that they needed help in, rather than in a way that some system told me that they needed help in. And I found that to be true even as self-employed,
Yeah.
renting space out of gyms. I've found that to be true even then, where the gyms have a system that they want you to work towards, that they
Yes.
want you to follow, but they don't know the people that you're looking after.
Mhm.
So, completely detaching myself from gyms and companies was the way forward. It just took me a long time to figure out how to do that and still be successful.
Okay. Yeah, I I s- un- totally understand not wanting to follow somebody else's rules because no one is the same in what's going on in their life. So how were you able to be where you are today?
As we were discussing just before this call, when I was in my late 20s, my business was in an amazing place. I was making more money than I ever thought I could doing what I was doing. I was working all the hours though. I had no life. And one of the things I've always done is exercised for my mental health. It's how I've always dealt with stress, because
Mhm.
it was such a natural thing for me, because it's what I grew up with. It's what I'd already always known. And I just sank into a really deep depression because I couldn't look after myself. I didn't have time to eat properly. I would skip meals. I didn't have time
Mhm.
to work out myself. And I'm a big believer in kind of being the product of the product.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing that. I was charging people money to motivate them to be healthier. Yeah, I wasn't healthy myself. I wasn't looking after myself. I wasn't putting my money where my mouth was, and I just felt like such a hypocrite. And then my business took a nosedive, and
Mhm.
because I was in the thick of it, I was like, "Why? I don't understand why this is happening." And then after, when everything had calmed down, and I kind of started exercising again and got myself eating healthy and back on a level playing field, I guess, I could really appreciate the journey I'd been through after it.
Mm-hmm.
and then take lessons from that and kind of develop my business in a way where I could use my experience and serve more women who struggle to prioritize their health because they're always busy with something else.
Yep. Well, you're speaking to me because that's always me. That's definitely me. Even today, it's like, all right, I have an early morning appointment. I don't have time. Um, um, and that's really never true because we have time for
Yep.
what's super important. And your health made you come to somewhat of a screeching halt
Mm-hmm.
to be able to say, wait a minute, we got to take care of me. And I think everyone listening can relate to that because there's times where all of a sudden you get the flu or you get something that puts you down for a period of time and your body is saying, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
But we don't listen very good, do we?
We don't. We don't.
So, what are some of the lessons you learned through that experience at the age of 20? So, that's a really big lesson.
Yeah, this particular lesson was more in my late 20s, but
Okay.
I had a lot of lessons in my early 20s as well,
Yeah.
as you know, we all do.
Yes.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me now is that I notice what triggered it before. I
Mhm.
notice what triggers me. And we all have highs and lows and ebbs and flows in our moods, in our emotions, in our businesses, in our lives. And I'm no different. Also, our menstrual cycle can affect that as
Mm.
well.
Yep.
And now when I'm in a little bit of a lower point or maybe just a quiet phase, I can recognize it and then take action with it rather than
Yeah.
waiting for something to happen. I can kind of go, okay, I recognize this. If I leave it, I'm going to end up back where I was before. But if I do something
Yeah.
about it now, I can stop that from being the case. And usually it's noticing it early on so you can do something small that isn't going to impact your life too much. Like go for a
Yeah.
walk or book a
Right.
weekend away, book a day off work,
Right.
something. And that
Yep.
was the biggest lesson for me.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I remember regarding our cycle is I knew the specific week that it was really challenging for me.
Hmm.
When our hormones are at a loss the week before, they're almost gone the week
Yeah.
before we start our menstrual cycle. And I began to notice that in my rhythms and I put it like an event across my whole calendar week that week because I was very regular. And I would say, take it easy this week, rest and drink more water, be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
And so it was blocked. So I would know not to overschedule that week because I knew where I would be. And I had forgotten that till you said it because I'm past that now. But that's a real part of our life. And it's not that we're making excuses. We're making a plan to actually take care of ourselves proactively.
Absolutely. And it's so important. I think like we like struggle through many, many different phases
Yeah.
and we don't realize that we've actually got 4 phases of one cycle. So
Yep.
every 4 weeks, we go through 4 different phases.
Yep.
And until we can understand that, how do we expect the men in our lives to
Yes.
support us and understand that? They can't if we can't.
Right.
And I learned more and more and more about it. And I will say to my husband, I'm like, right, next week, I'm already sorry if I bite your head off. Or
Yes.
if if you
Absolutely.
if you want to go and have a lads' night away, or you want to go out with the lads, or if you want to, make plans without me next week's a great week. you know, and he's like very understanding of it because I am.
Yes.
And I think that's something we've got to be very mindful of, that we we're expecting them to accommodate our mood and understand it, but we don't understand it ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. And it also helps me to be more cautious or cognate of not being snappy,
Yes.
just because that's the way I'm feeling that, and I would say something with a little bit of raw edge to it, and then I would go, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
just like, I didn't really mean it. It's just I could bite somebody's head off today, and it's just like, and for absolutely no reason. Oh, so
Yeah.
anyway, or cry, and they're like, "Nothing's wrong. I'm just crying." And
Yeah, absolutely. And then
and all the things, but yeah, I agree with you. Most of us don't take the time to learn what's really happening in our bodies.
mhm.
We're so busy taking care of everyone else that we haven't paid attention to the cycles that we go through, and there's other cycles. It's like, when do you work best? When is your energy the highest? It's all of those kind of rhythms that occur in our life, but we haven't always taken time to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. And as you know, if we look after ourselves, everything else in our life
Yeah.
becomes easier.
Yep.
Everything
Absolutely.
becomes more manageable if we look after ourselves first. And that's what I help women do.
Yes. So any other tips, ideas that you could share today?
Sure. Going back to the cycle part of the
Mhm.
conversation, it affects our mood. We know that, but it also affects the way we move and the way
Mhm.
we crave food as well. We will
Mhm.
have a week where we will crave more sweet foods than
Mhm.
any other week, and that's cycle related. We also have a week where we are at our strongest, and a
Yeah.
week where we're not only feeling more tired or weaker, but actually we're more prone to dislocation of joints in that week as well.
Mm.
So, knowing your cycle can really affect the way that we turn up for exercise, the way that we perform.
Yeah.
So, when I'm with clients and they're saying, I could move this weight last week. I could do this last week. Why can't I do it this week? First question, what week of your cycle are you on?
Mhm.
Because if you're on that week, rather than beating yourself up mentally and saying, I've failed, I am no good at this. Why am I no good at this? We have a reason that we can work around.
Yeah.
And up here, that makes a massive, massive impact.
It does. So many a times, at least I did, we feel like we're kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But when you understand chemically and physiology, what is going on in our bodies, it just helps us go, I'm okay. It's just part of the process. And it gives you a moment of going, oh, not judging ourselves,
Yep.
and being able to be kind to ourselves. So I love your philosophy and the way that you're working with women. How could they, I mean, do you take clients in the US? Tell us about what you do and how you serve people.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my business is global. Most of my business is virtual. I do have a few um, in-face clients, but very, very few. The business side in the US is actually growing the most at the moment. And the way it works is we do everything over Zoom. If Zoom doesn't work, we can use something else, but
Mhm.
Zoom is the preference at the moment. And you've got two options. If you're not a member of a gym, we can be in your house, in your workout space, wherever that may be. But you can also take me live into the gym. And what I'm
Oh,
finding is a lot of women don't really know how to use their gym
yeah,
properly.
right.
And for some reason, they don't want to ask the staff. Maybe gym anxiety,
Yep.
maybe a bad experience in the past. Maybe the staff aren't that approachable
Mhm.
in the gym. It could be a number of things. So the first thing I do on the session is take them around their gym and teach them how to use the equipment that we're going to be using, and that the equipment's not something to be afraid of. It's nowhere near as complicated as what it might look like.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they've used it once, they're like, oh, I didn't realize it was that simple, because it doesn't look that way.
Right.
So that's the two ways I work with my one-to-one clients. And then the other part of my business is that I have an online membership where if you're motivated, but you just want some guidance and then what I call a back pocket coach to support you if and when you get stuck or you have a question,
Mm-hmm.
then the membership is full of like 12-week workout programs with video tutorials and all the coaching in there with recipes, goal setting, all that side of things included. And then when you get stuck or if you've got a question, you can just ask me because you're part of my community.
That sounds wonderful. So how would people find you?
Social wise, I'm pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, at NH Personal Training, you'll find me. If you want to know a little bit more about my journey rather than my business, so if you're really into your weight training, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
powerlifter for Team GB, so you can find me on TikTok at NHPT, and that's more of that side if you're interested in that side. But yeah, you can pretty much find me anywhere.
Okay. We'll include your social links and your website in where people can reach out to you and learn about your membership and things like that in the show notes as well. So if you were to give women one or two nuggets of wisdom to wrap up today, what would that be?
The first thing is increase your NEAT. So your NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and it is way more important to us on a wellness level than actual exercise. It allows us to burn more calories and increase our fitness. And the beauty of it is we can just incorporate it into pretty much anything that we do every day. So it would be classed as movement that we don't consider exercise. If you're like me, dancing in the shower, dancing in the kitchen when you're cooking, walking the dog would also be classed as that. Rather than parking your car right outside the front door of the store, park it at the back of the car park and get some extra steps in. That would be my first thing. It's so huge, but really easy to kind of put into your everyday life. That then becomes natural, so you don't have to overthink it too much.
Okay.
That would be the first one. And the second one would be enjoy it. You've got one life.
Yes.
You're here to enjoy it. The likelihood is you will enjoy it more if you're healthier. So rather than sacrificing the things you love to become healthier, why not find a way of being healthier that you enjoy?
Yes.
And then enjoy the whole process.
Yes. I will never be a runner.
Oh, me neither. I'm allergic to running. It's fine.
I know. I'm like, I have a client who was with me yesterday and she says she runs about 30 miles a week. And I'm like, oh my God. And she loves it. It's just like, it's something that thrill. And so we have to do what we love is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is like
Absolutely.
and so many times we think exercise is doing something I hate.
Yes.
I've quit using the word exercise. I've used the word movement. How can I move my body today?
Yeah.
What
Absolutely.
ways can I move my body and do some, for my age group, do a little bit of weights as
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a huge fan of weightlifting for any age. The
Yep.
benefits of weightlifting are incredible. But I think what we need to be more mindful of is I'm going to go for a run because it's going to help me lose weight. I'm going to do this because it's going to help me lose weight, tone up, etc. Where we could be like, actually, I'm going to go for a run because I really enjoy it.
Yes. Yep.
Right. And if you don't enjoy running, look at the benefits of a different type of exercise and go, oh, well, actually, I am going to go to the gym because now I'm weight training. I actually enjoy it rather than I have to do this
Yeah.
because I need to lose weight or because I should do this.
Right. Oh, I love what you do. We will, I just know how important it is for our overall vibrant life, which is what I'm all about, is to have a vibrant life. I need to take care of the vehicle that I'm walking around on the earth in,
Yep.
and being able to understand the connection with that and taking care of ourselves. Thank you so much, Natalie, for coming and sharing. I am so happy and love your big heart to help people. So keep shining your light, keep touching women all around the world. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.